Is there not a fan? Yes, sir.
One short.
Yeah, well, 13th, and I'm looking numbers, so I'm gonna have them expire.
Oh, okay. You're just gonna do it randomly and just. Oh, you gotta go.
I missed 2 games.
Fair enough. At anything below 13 or above 13, right? It's just that one number that throws us off. That would be a more positive way. He was talking about taking somebody out. Yeah, so.
I don't think that's a movie you want to watch, though. Sam? Yeah.
You're talking about years in school or credits earned? Credits earned. And years in school. Freshman.
I'm a sophomore. Konami. Presentation?
A pretend presentation.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Put your hand up, man. That's hella cute. Put your hand up, man. Put your hand. Okay, now we played the game. You don't have to put your hands on their table. Now we've got that out of your system. You can listen to Mr. Steele. Mr. Steele here is to present the information on Biotech, which is another automotive trade school.
Have these guys heard from UTI? Okay. This year? Okay.
Not this year.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, he's had an advantage.
That's okay. We're half the price, so
I
people care about money. That matters.
I tried to fill them in kind of the background.
Okay.
Grievous error.
No problem at all. I can set them on the right path.
Alejandro is always looking for a path to be erudite, truth and enlightenment.
He's talking about Divergent.
That's a yes.
Yes.
You don't want to be right. All right. I give you over to Mr. Steele.
Thanks, Mr. Thornton. All right. So first of all, good morning, everybody. How are you guys? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So actually, my first name is Steele. Witchek is my last name, but that's Mr. Thornton and I. We've known each other for 17, 18 years now, something like that. We hadn't seen each other in about a decade and a half. Time does go by quickly. But most people just call me Mr. Steele, so you guys are welcome to do that. Witchek is my last name, so you guys don't have to worry about that. And what I'm going to do over the next half an hour, 40 minutes, however amount of time that you guys ask questions, we kind of move along here. Talk to you guys about my school, about where we're located, and kind of just give you guys information about how we do things. It's very different. The fact that you guys have heard of UTI before, like heard about it, or however I want to say that, that's great. Because now you guys have something to compare it to. So feel free to ask any questions as I get going along about any of this sort of stuff. I think you guys will see how we're different. And for the right person, we work really well, but we're pretty unique. And so that's what I want to kind of get across to you guys today. Now, just because I know Mr. Thornton has a bunch of different types of classes in here throughout the day, I'm talking, you guys are auto shop students, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what level? You guys have all taken auto before? I guess there are some freshmen. So it makes sense, right? I remember you saying that each class is mixed, right? So some students have been with you for how many of you guys have been in here for 3 years? Okay. And then anybody for 4? Well, then obviously it would mean that you're a senior and you started class here, a freshman. So as I get into the presentation, you guys please ask questions. I'm going to ask you guys questions as well. For starters, how many of you guys before I came in today actually have even heard of Witchek? Oh, awesome. Okay. Do you guys remember how you guys heard about it other than Mr. Thornton talking about it? I guess I should have clarified that question before Mr. Thornton even talked about it. Had you guys heard of it? Okay, cool. Just from like, how did you guys remember how you heard about it? Okay, right on, right on. Okay. How many of you guys, my next question, so let me kind of fill you guys in on what my job is. I have 2 different components to my job. One is that I'm an admissions recruiter, so you guys are kind of getting that side of my job today, where I go out, I talk about the school, I explain how things happen, and I work with all the students from all of Northern California and all of Northern Nevada. And I live in Nevada City, so I'm not far from here, but kind of right in the middle, where I can kind of easily access everything. So a pretty big geographic area. And really what I'm doing is I'm going around and I'm talking to students that are in shop classes, so that is definitely why I'm here, because I'm trying to find students that have had a chance to really get a taste of what the industry is like at this level. And then they've decided they want to take it to the next level. And that's what you guys will get from my presentation today, what we do. The other side to my job is that I'm the person who helps, as an admissions counselor, take students through the process of learning all about the school, doing things like getting their financial aid in place, applying and getting accepted, and really everything that it takes to go from living in a place like the Tahoe region to living in a place like Laramie, Wyoming. Now, funny enough, like most places I go, I show pictures of this is Snowy Range, which is a ski resort area, like a national forest right outside of town. So for a lot of people, they see like the skiing and snowmobile, and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool. I get to go do." Obviously, you guys live, right around that all the time here. So I got a bunch of other like little looping videos where it could have been like about wildlife or about hunting out that way and things like that too. So I just decided to go with this one as well. But that's where the school is located. So my next question for you guys is, how many of you guys have been to Wyoming before? You remember why you went? Okay, cool. Yellowstone as well. Okay, and so the edge, like just on the edge of Utah and Wyoming? And kind of like up there, like where, like kind of obviously Idaho is right there as well. What were you hunting for? Whatever got in your the line of fire. Did you guys have any luck? Okay, yep, you can hunt. No, you can hunt porcupines there.
Yeah, and we got 3, but there was a 3x3, 2x2, and 4x5.
Okay, right on. So you guys actually went home not empty-handed at all. So I always like starting off my presentation. I'm going to get into the school, but my school, Wyoming, is a very unique state, and Laramie is also a very unique town. So I always like to start my presentations off with information about that. And I always want to also point out that the way our school is set up, and I'll get back into this, is our students go to school 7 o'clock in the morning till 4:20 in the afternoon. So it's actually, they have a 1-hour break in the middle. And so it's an 8-hour, 20-minute day. They go to school straight through, well, they have actually a couple breaks, but it's a 9-month program in order to graduate. So when I talk about somebody going to our school, that's the length of time that it takes. So living in Wyoming and going to school at Witchek, I mean, those are the 2 experiences. So I'll definitely talk about the school, but understanding the state and what makes it different, I think is really important. So first of all, Wyoming is unique in a lot of ways. One of the ways that it's unique is it is a very sparsely populated state. So when you guys went there, did you guys see any big towns? Like, I mean, Jackson, Casper is actually not far from there. I mean, that's like the second biggest town in the entire state at 50,000 people, but no big cities, right? Yeah, they don't exist in Wyoming. I'm assuming that you guys didn't hardly saw anybody at all if you guys just jumped over the border. Yep. And that's most of the states like that. And part of the reason why it's like that is because a lot of it's set aside for national parks, like what you guys already, kind of know about. And a lot of the area is open for big game. So hunting is a huge thing. People come from all around the world to hunt in Wyoming, because there's over 100 different types of mammals that you can hunt while you're there, and it goes everything from really big game like grizzly bear and black bear and elk and shoot, you can hunt gray wolf there. You can hunt like all types of big game, and it's really liberal in the way that they allow people to do that, as well as with the gun laws and stuff like that, because it's just not a really populated state. Funny enough, there really aren't any gun laws, and yet it's one of the safest states in the entire country. So it's just a really unique place because a lot of it's just set aside. About half the state's set aside for parks and open area for big game. So there's a lot of animals there. And the other side of it is a lot of ranches. And so a lot of people think of ranches. They hear about a ranch being, oh, that's a 500-acre ranch. That's a really big ranch. Out there, ranches that are 4,000 acres are decent size, and there's some that are 40, 50, 60,000 acres. So they're huge ranches. So really the state is made up of these little ranching towns and a lot of ranches, and thus a lot of cowboys. And then the other part of the state's a lot of national parks and open space and things like that. And Laramie is really the hub for a lot of what's going on in the state because it is the college town. There's only one university in the entire state. It's in Wyoming. It's the University of Wyoming. It's the Cowboys, so, obviously named for appropriate reasons. The town itself is home to University of Wyoming, our school, and a big community college. And there's about 15,000 college kids total between the three schools. And then you've got 30,000 year-round residents that live in Laramie, Wyoming as well. And so it's 1 out of every 3 students that people that live in Laramie, Wyoming are actually college students. So it really makes it, it is a college town. There's, a third of the population is college students. So it's really unique in that way. But it's also the third largest town in the entire state at 30,000 year-round residents. So it's a small town. And one of the things that we always make sure that people understand is that we're a school that really gives people the ability to live in a small town, go to a unique college that generally all these colleges, like every UTI college, Sacramento, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Houston, Dallas, Chicago, all huge cities, right? Some of those cities, Los Angeles area has 13 million people that live in it, and our town has 30,000. So in many ways, we're a place where people can go to. They go to a town like Laramie, they can have this college university experience, and they can get to a place where it's just not going to be overwhelming people. The idea of traffic in Laramie is going to be a bunch of antelope stuck in the middle of the road that just won't get out of the way. It's just like that sort of stuff doesn't. Now, if you need people, Denver's not far away. We're right on the Colorado border. So it's pretty easy. It is at 7,000 feet altitude, so it's actually a little bit higher than here. So snow will be there. Obviously you guys are used to that kind of stuff here too. And around the town, this is like I was saying, this is a ski resort where they have a lot of open area for snowmobiling. There's another national forest called Vedawoo just north of town. There's a huge national forest called Medicine Bow, which stretches all the way down into northern Colorado as well. We're about 45 minutes from Fort Collins, which is another big college town too, right on the other side of the border from Colorado. So it's a really unique experience. And so living in Laramie and understanding that is, like I said, it's as important as understanding, what the school does as well. So before I move away from it, which I'll touch a little bit more on, like our relationship with the university and stuff like that too. But does anybody have any questions on anything I'm talking about so far? All right, let's watch a video. So this video will do a good job of showing you guys the school and kind of what everything looks like. And then I'll talk about how the programs are set up and stuff like that after that. So the 2 buildings you guys see there, that's where all the classrooms, labs are at. 225,000 square feet between those 2 spaces. We do a lot of classic restoration. You guys will see a lot of metal work. A lot of that's custom builds, but a lot of it also goes to classic restoration. So we do these big job fairs multiple times throughout the year. We also have employers on campus all the time. And we do a lot of stuff around job placements. That's definitely a big part of what our students are getting. You guys can see the housing's right on campus, and it's just a 2-minute walk from the dorm room to the actual classrooms themselves. All right, so that's the school. So anybody think of any questions for me while that was playing? Yeah, so the way we're set up, engineering is part of every single thing we do, but it's just not a traditional environment, right? So we're mostly hands-on. I would say if you looked at all of our programs, we're about 75% lab, whereas like with the engineering programs, obviously it's going to be classroom with like a touch of lab. So yes, you're learning how to build cars and trucks from the ground up, but more I know it's hard for me to say like engineering, even though that is what you're doing, because that's not really. We're not taking that same kind of academic approach towards it because we're building out in the lab too. But as I show you the stuff, I think that it'll just kind of make you think like, why doesn't it just say it's an engineering program? Because I guess it is. I don't know if that answered your question at all because I kind of circled around that.
Are there like welding courses, or is
Yeah.
it just all?
It's all fabrication. So we're not a welding school, we're a fabrication school. So the difference meaning that you're going to use a lot of machining tools, you're actually going to build stuff, but in that process, you're going to learn a lot of welding. So we do a bunch of MIG, more TIG. We try to do as much TIG as possible, depending on what somebody's level is before they come to us as well. So I'll definitely show you guys that stuff. I have a couple of videos that'll be specific about those programs. So I just want to go through this website with you guys real quick, and I'm definitely going to show you guys my school on it because it's something I want you guys to not just know about our school, but I want you guys to understand this website. This is done by the U.S. Department of Education. It's called the College Scorecard. Oh, you're looking at the same thing as me. And